Trump floats putting his opponents and Hillary in jail if he wins in 2024 as MAGA plots retribution for the hush money guilty verdicts. It's really funny because we've been talking about this. Like, there should be lists of the Democrats who are going to be criminally prosecuted for the things they did. And, like, Hillary Clinton's way up on the list. She's like the top. Like, Fauci's way up there. And Hillary Clinton, of course, for the Steele dossier, the financing of that. Then there's the destruction of the public records with BleachBit. Come on, the list is huge. And the funny thing is, we mention all this, and then what does the media do? They report Trump supporters want to jail Alvin Bragg. I'm like, Bragg? He's like number 15 on the list, maybe even 40. Like, at the top of the list, we got Fauci and Hillary Clinton.
Just because it's the top of mind. It's just the most.
Well, it's because Bannon was talking about it, and I'm like, the media is like, Trump supporters threaten to jail Alvin Bragg. And it's like, dude, that is an understatement. The people who are going to be criminally charged and arrested, and I want to give a shout out to the Biden administration for posting the clip from this show where I said we will have investigations. Donald Trump will be elected. Okay. I'll tell you exactly how we'll do it. Trump will be elected, and then he will appoint an attorney general that will launch investigations, and where there is evidence, warrants will be issued. We will then take the Democrats to a room to be made comfortable, and then the prosecutors and the law enforcement officers will make a decision about what to do next.
I think it's funny that there's clearly a group of people in the Biden campaign that are assigned to watch Timcast IRL every night.
That's awesome.
Isn't that funny? Hope you guys are doing well.
No, I think they saw one of the lefty blogs that was writing about it.
I bet there's someone who has to watch it.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, let's share this clip. And it's really funny because I'm like, we will criminally charge the people that we know committed crimes. And they're like, they're going to arrest us for the crimes we committed. And it's
yes.
like, okay. It's not controversial. Let's speak neutrally. I believe that when Trump is elected, all Democrats and Republicans who have committed crimes should be criminally charged when there's evidence and there are warrants granted by judges or grand juries, indictments returned, and they should go to jail. They should go to jail. Republicans and Democrats combined. There you go, President Biden. Hopefully that was sufficient for you.
Yeah.
Because I can name a handful of Republicans How about Liz Cheney? There was a Secret Service agent who wanted to testify that Cassidy Hutchinson was lying about Donald Trump attacking the driver of the beast, and Liz Cheney didn't want to do it.
Lying under oath. Was she under oath?
No, Liz Cheney. Well, Cassidy Hutchinson, I don't know. But Liz Cheney should be, that's obstruction.
Yep.
There you go.
The pearl clutching on the, Trump says that maybe Democrats should be jailed from the left-wing media was really funny today. Partially because they're like, he's suggesting he would go after his political enemies. And rightly so. The right wing is like, excuse me? Do you guys not understand what just happened?
What people don't realize is that every person who went to a gulag got a trial.
Yeah.
There's no reality. The Democrats are like, but a jury decided that Trump was guilty. And it's like, do you think that when communists and Nazis took over, they didn't have trials? Of course they did. We call them show trials. And then they send you away.
You should get someone from the Biden administration on the show.
Oh, yeah, right.
Whoever has to watch Timcast, please come on the show.
Yeah. What would you ask Biden if you could sit him down? What would be the first question?
Well, I think the challenge with asking Biden any question is he's not cognizant of his own existence. So it's like I can ask the UFO the same question and get the same response. It's going to be muttered, garbled nonsense. But there's a lot of questions for Biden, but I don't think any of them actually matter all that much. Because most of Biden's life is long over. He is well past, he's past life expectancy. He lacks lucidity. So you're not going to get an answer out of him for a question that you don't already know the answer to. Like everything pertaining to Burisma, the shady dealings with his brother, the contracts they got in Iraq, all of that's out there already. Usually you have to wait, a couple decades or it's like when someone's in office, you don't learn the secrets right away. It's only a decade or so later you start to learn these things. Well, Biden's been in office for so long, we've learned most of the things. And so what is there to really ask the guy?
I feel like Jill is way more of a power player than people realize. Imagine all the
Dr. Jill.
Imagine all the late night ramblings that she's heard all the information that she had, and she's very good at kind of staying behind the scenes and not in the spotlight, but she knows a lot more than.
I know what I'd ask Biden. If you didn't eat breakfast yesterday, how would you have felt? That's what I'd ask him.
All right, please respond, guys.
And then when he goes, what do you mean? I had breakfast yesterday. I'll be like, exactly. And that's the only question you need to ask. Maybe a Turing test. I'd ask you are walking in the desert and you come across a turtle on its back. Do you flip it over? What was the question they asked in Blade Runner? Was something like that?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like you come across a turtle and it's on its back. It is being dehydrated. Do you flip it over or whatever? They were trying to figure out if you were a replicant or something. Ask him those questions.
I did not know that.
The problem is like his brain doesn't work. It's like there's no real questions to ask him. You could ask him basic stuff like, here's the issue, right? With Trump, I asked him questions. How are you going to secure the border? How are you going to, or I said, how are you going to deport all these people? Something he said he wants to do. Biden just lies about everything. What am I going to ask? Oh, Biden, you want to secure the border? How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm not. It's like, oh, so what do you want to do? What do you actually want to do? Lie. Okay.
Well, and I've always felt this way because I've always identified as conservative, but like it's harder for me to think about what you would ask Biden because I just know his goals are very different from mine, right? Like I could ask him questions about, or, Tim could ask him questions about immigrations, but his objectives for immigration in this country are very different than what I would go for, right? He wants to have people enter the country. This is the things that the Democrats have advocated for. They're okay with a certain level of illegal immigration. I am not. Like it's very different than talking to someone who you believe would potentially carry out policies that you're sympathetic to. I would be interested in asking Biden, about his previous record, right? Like having him answer for his record in the Senate, because it seems like so often Biden doesn't really remember what's going on, or seems like, do you remember at one point there was this whole story about how he would say his first wife, who died, in a car accident, his daughter died, it was very sad. But then he started saying that the other driver was drunk and it was a DUI situation, and that driver's family had to sue him to get him to stop. Like he'll say stuff that just doesn't really make sense. And I would be interested in hearing an explanation for his own record to see if he's like, I never voted for that, or, whatever, because it just doesn't seem like the Biden that was elected to Congress is the same Biden that was in the Obama White House, including and in his current White House.
I know what I'd ask him. When you found out that your uncle was eaten by cannibals, how did that feel? And then he'd be like, oh, man, it was shocking. And they'd say, yeah. Remember when you were on that porch and you got arrested for defending that black family? What was that like? Remember when you marched with the Selma rioters?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I got it. Did you poop?
That was a pretty viral moment.
You need a diaper change?
Yeah. Who pooped? Did you poop? Did you poop?
Yeah,
That's what I would ask him.
What would you ask Biden?
I mean, the smartest thing he could do would be to go on a comedy show or something and actually have someone ask him those questions and have a sense of humor about it. He should get interviewed by Zach Galifianakis and just own it, own his mental decline, and just and try to show that there's actually someone underneath. It's his only chance, but he just hides. And he won't go on long-form podcasts. It's just sad.
He doesn't possess the capability. And I think that's part of the reason why Trump has done podcasts and stuff like that, is because he's making it clear that even if you don't like him, he can still have normal conversations where he is totally cognizant, where he is present, even if you don't like his answers, even if he's going to BS you, because he's still going to be Trump. I'm not saying that he's going to be different. He's still going to be Donald Trump. But at least he's going to understand the questions you're asking and be able to respond with something coherent.
His personality can carry through.
This is why we need the full hour and a half with Trump. Because the super chat portion, if Trump's here, we obviously want people to ask questions. But, I've talked to their team and they said high likelihood that we end up doing an actual full show with everyone, sitting down talking with them. And the reason for it is because we're going to pull up a story like dead Democrats win, Trump, and then we'll talk, and then Trump will give his thoughts, because Trump often talks about big issues, but having him sit down with a variety of news stories, imagine if we were able to pull up Star Wars, right? The acolytes, big news, are saying it's getting woke, it's going broke. Imagine getting to hear Trump talk about in-depth cultural issues, how he feels about movies, TV shows, and what it means for American culture. A lot of people would groan and say, I want to hear about immigration. Great, go watch ABC. Trump did a million interviews about it. Imagine giving an opportunity to sit down with Trump and hear him just give a stream of consciousness on all of these issues and what he thinks about them in a real conversation. That would be amazing. So we're hoping that happens at some point. Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. I think this show is an unusual format. Some people work with it. I think Donald Trump would probably thrive here. I think the thing that Donald Trump has over Biden and has had over a lot of candidates, Republicans too, is that he has such a strong personality and that he is very comfortable on camera. You know, all the years being on reality TV paying off. I don't think Americans feel like they know Biden better after 4 years in the White House, right? They don't feel like he is more of a personality. He was sort of in Obama's shadow before. I don't think that there's obviously a reason that he is not doing, like you're saying, the long form podcast and whatever else. And maybe it's the mental decline, but maybe there is a certain level of like the politicianness of it all. Like he isn't a developed personality in the way that Trump is. He's sort of looking for the cues and to say the right thing, whereas Trump is just going to say whatever is on his mind. Yeah. You know, for better or for worse, he's not necessarily going off a script. You can't really bring a teleprompter into a long form podcast. I mean, I guess you could, but it would be very weird.
Yeah, it would just be like, do you see what's going on, Trump, with Washington Post? Half their staff is apparently, they're laying off, like their viewership is cut in half. Mm-hmm. They're firing a bunch of people. The boss comes in and says, like, nobody wants to read this stuff anymore. It's garbage. And they're like, have you thought about hiring more women of color? I'd love to hear Trump just start talking about it. He'd just be like, oh, these people are absolutely crazy. You know, these companies, they used to be great and blah, 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 and they just have him go off on it. And that's a real story, by the way. The Washington Post is on the verge of collapse.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.